Good afternoon, brothers and sisters, and welcome to Readings with Regina. Now, I'm going to start off today a little differently. I want to bring you up to the present, and I'm very disturbed today. I've been disturbed ever since I realized that the United States has bombed Iran. It's awful. It is just awful. I have told you before, I hate war. Absolutely. I believe in self defense. I hate war. But what's worse? The President of the United States has lied to you. Yes, the Iranians don't make a nuclear bomb. They're Shia Muslim. It's against their religion. They have not been making a nuclear bomb. That is untrue. The United States and Israel has been lying to the American public for years. All right. And when I realized they were in negotiations, check it out. They in negotiations, and America starts bombing the country in which I was born, starts bombing an independent nation. They kill the leader, the religious leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, who was a religious leader for millions of Muslims. Not only did they kill him, they killed his, family members and his granddaughter. So I've been very upset about this. Worse, they bombed a school of little girls between 6 and 12. This is what America does to countries globally. So I want to start off with a poem for the baby ancestors in Gaza. Now, for the baby ancestors in Iran. Understand what your country is doing, people. So I'm going to read this before I get to our usual books. Okay, I want to read this poem because the country in which I live have killed children. They have killed children all over the globe. For the baby ancestors in Gaza, I'm going to add this. Julia Wright won't mind. For the baby ancestors in Iran, in the corner of my house that received the most sunbeams, I have built a secular altar on my humble wooden floor. Candles are lit for the tiny children who become ancestors each day in Gaza and Iran. And I create a garden of peace for them with my favorite plants to keep their spirits company. Healing aloe vera, tall and wise papyrus, resistant bamboo, sun absorbent succulents, the vigilance of snake plants, delicious edible portulaca, as well as young acacia, rescued from the climate war. I whisper bedtime stories to those baby ancestors. I share with them our hope push ups. I tell them how I take this daily darkness with a grain of light. And at night, I let them know my secret. I lie in bed, counting not the sheep I would not wish to die like anyway, but streets and streets and streets of people's victories to be thanked. And again, this is by my Panther sister, Julia Wright. It is called, I hope you can see it, For the Baby Ancestors in Gaza. Now, check it out. Check it out, people. Ayatollah Khomeini, the spiritual leader of the Shia Muslim people, millions of them worldwide, was a learned man. He spoke 4 languages. He was, okay, that country. He is the spiritual head on top. And then they had something similar to what other nations have, Congresses, Senates, and this sort of thing. But America killed him. America killed members of his cabinet. America is a bully. Now, let me slow down. Once I get to the end of the show, I'm going to show you how to release the kind of energy that I just gave out to you. It is very important, my people, for you to be healthy and to understand the tyranny in this country, to understand that this country is run by demonic, satanic forces. Yes. So I'm going to show you at the end of the show how to release that kind of influence because I had to release it. Over the weekend, when I realized that America had gone to war again for Israel, and a friend of mine was fired from his job, high school teacher, just because he mentioned Gaza. Who runs America? Does Americans run America? Huh? Or is another little small nasty country running America? All right. I'm going to show you how to release the energy that I'm spewing out right now at the end of the show. It will all tie in. All right. We're going to start with the slave ship. Okay, here we go. And we know that this episode is called The American Wars and the Plantation Machine Come Out of the Slave Ship. Here we go. The author previously, last week, was talking about how the slave ship is a distinctive product of European capitalism, colonialism, and maritime power. Here we go. One machine served another. A West Indian planter wrote in 1773 that the plantation should be a, quote, well constructed machine, compounded of various wheels turning different ways, and yet all contributing to the great end proposed, end of quote. Those turning the wheels were Africans, and the great end was the unprecedented accumulation of capital on a worldwide scale. As an essential part of the plantation complex, the slave ship helped northern European states, Britain in particular, to break out of national economic limits and, in Robin Blackburn's words, to discover an industrial and global future. White people made big money off of African slavery. It laid the foundation economically for the mentioned countries. Understand that, Black people. The wide ranging, well armed slave ship was a powerful sailing machine, and yet it was also something more, something sui generis. As Thomas Gordon and his contemporaries knew, it was also a factory and a prison, and in this combination lay its genius and its horror. The word factory came into usage in the late 16th century as global trade expanded. Trade? Trade? What trade? Slave trade, baby. Its root word was factor, a synonym the time for merchant. Factor, factory, merchant. Keep those words in mind. Have your children write them down and look them up. A factory was therefore, quote, an establishment for traders carrying on business in a foreign country, end of quote. It was a merchant trading station. The fortresses and trading houses built on the coast of West Africa, like Cape Coast Castle on the Gold Coast and Fort James on Vance Island in Sierra Leone, were thus factories, but so too were ships themselves, as they were often permanently anchored near shore in other less developed areas of trade and used as places of business. The decks of the ship were the nexus for exchange of African bound cargo. such as textiles and firearms, Europe bound cargo, such as gold and ivory, and American bound cargo, such as slaves. We were cargo. Seaman James Field Stanfield sailed in 1774 from Liverpool to Benin aboard the slave ship Eagle, which was to be left on the coast as a floating factory. The slave ship was a floating factory. Think about that, my people. And those of you who I hope are teaching your children from my videos, let them look up those words. Okay. Next, I'm going to go to Linda Brent, Harriet Jacobs, Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. And you all know why I love this book, because it is written by an actual enslaved sister girl, okay? And for my new subscribers, bless you all. And while I'm here, I just want to remind you, always like my videos. Hit the like button for my videos. Okay, here we go. Oh, wait until you see how this sister girl had to travel into the night to see her son that was left with her grandmother, because she's on a plantation now, working 24/7 from a white demonic enslaver. He's the son of the pedophile enslaver who owns Linda. Okay. She just saw her son in the night. She snuck away from the plantation to see her baby boy. Check this out. Those of you who have been with me, think back to Frederick Douglass. His mother would sneak away in the night, walk miles to see him. Okay? She could only do it a couple of times. And then she couldn't come anymore. So here we go. My time was up too soon. And my guide, she had another brother, enslaved brother, guiding her to from her plantation to where her son was being kept. My guide was waiting for me. I laid Benny back in his bed and dried his tears by a promise to come again soon. Rapidly, we retraced our steps back to the plantation. About halfway, we were met by a company of 4 patrols. Those are the original police in America. The original police in America hunted down escaping enslaved people. That's the origins of the contemporary police. Luckily, we heard their horses' hooves before they came in sight, and we had time to hide behind a large tree. They passed hallooing and shouting in a manner that indicated a recent carousal. That means they had probably just caught a black man or woman, beat the hell out of him, raped a woman if it was a woman. Boom! So they were making merry, these cops. And let me just take a minute to say something right now. I'm going to come up to the present. All of you black men and women that join these police forces, don't be a part of negative police behavior. Don't do that to your people and other people. Don't be barbaric. Don't beat and beat and beat and shoot and shoot and shoot. All right. Okay, they had time to hide behind a large tree. They passed hallooing and shouting in a manner that indicated a recent carousal. How thankful, now this is what kills me. How thankful we were that they had not their dogs. They had N-word dogs that they trained specifically to hunt down N-words, and they were called N-word dogs. Every now and then they call them Negro dogs, but very often they would call them N-word dogs. Dogs trained to hunt down our enslaved ancestors. All right. We hastened our footsteps And when we arrived on the plantation, we heard the sound of the hand mill. Listen to this very carefully, people. The slaves were grinding their corn. We were safely in the house before the horn summoned them to their labor. I divided my little parcel of food with my guide, knowing that he had lost the chance of grinding his corn and must toil all day in the field. All right, I'm not even going to comment. Do think about that, and you should write on that too. Great subject. Mr. Flint often took an inspection of the house to see that no one was idle. The entire management of the work was trusted to me because he knew nothing about it. And rather than hire a superintendent, he contented himself with my arrangements. He had often urged upon his father the necessity of having me at the plantation to take charge of his affairs and make clothes for the slaves. But the old man knew him too well to consent to that arrangement. In other words, they were both rapists and pedophiles. When I had been working a month at the plantation, the great aunt of Mr. Flint came to make him a visit. This was the good old lady who paid $50 for my grandmother. This is so important. For the purpose of making her free. Now, this is a decent white woman whom we all called Miss Fanny. She often came to take tea with us. On such occasions, the table was spread with a snow white cloth, and the china cups and silver spoons were taken from the old fashioned buffet. There were hot muffins, tea rusk, and delicious sweetmeats. My grandmother kept 2 cows, and the fresh cream was Miss Fanny's delight. She invariably declared that it was the best in town. The old ladies had cozy times together. They would work and chat, and sometimes, while talking over old times, their speeches, their spectacles would get dim with tears and would have to be taken off and wiped. When Miss Fanny bade us goodbye, her bag was filled with grandmother's best cakes, and she was urged to come again soon. All right, yeah. Let me show you another good white woman. Lydia Mariah Child. She is the abolitionist woman that enabled Linda Brent to get her book out to the public. Because you got to understand that during the enslavement period, white men wrote that slavery was good for the savage N-words, that they were treated so nicely, that they were loved and comforted within the family. Notice that Linda Brent is passed down from family member to family member. Okay? Her grandmother was the town baker. She could bake like nobody's business. Okay? So she got a few of the favors that other enslaved people didn't get. But her master was going to sell her. She was an elder. Her master was still going to sell her. But this Miss Fanny bought her for $50 so that she could be free. Yo, understand your history in this country, Black people. Okay, the next book, Ida B. Wells, one of my heroes. Okay, now you know Ida was the first investigative journalist in America. Ida B. Wells. Her parents had been enslaved, but she was born just when slavery, 1862, was abolished. All right, and she is going. Okay, this is for my new subscribers. There had been a lynching. Her 3 friends, they were businessmen. White businessmen got jealous of them and killed them. Boom! Did they go to jail? No! So anyway, the blacks in Memphis left. They like, screw it. I ain't staying here. Now, Ida is going to the territories that the enslaved people who left Memphis are now traveling to, and she's writing stories about them and sending them back to her paper, The Free Speech. Okay. These letters drew people from Memphis, Arkansas, Mississippi, and other sections of Tennessee, so that 10 weeks after the lynching, her three friends killed, the colored people of Memphis were as unsettled as the first week and still leaving town. The people already settled in Oklahoma wanted me to bring the free speech out there. We had all already announced that we would not stay in Memphis. By the way, the businessmen and those that ran the trolleys at the time were begging the black people to come back to stay, or I should say the Negroes to come back to stay, because they were losing money. That was the reason, not any love of humanity. No, they were losing money. Okay, but the Negroes, the black people, they were like, "No, we getting out of here. Screw you." All right. The people already settled in Oklahoma wanted me to bring the free speech there. We had already announced that we would not stay in Memphis, but had not decided where to go. After seeing the opportunities of growth in Oklahoma, I came back and laid the proposition before my business manager, who was half owner of the paper. He was not in favor of the idea, and as I had not the money to buy his interest, I could make no decision just then. Long before the lynching, I had planned to go to the AME General Conference in Philadelphia. Yes, yes, where I am right now. In May, I had never been east or witnessed the deliberations of a general conference. Mrs. Frances Watkins Harper, I've been to her house. Oh, great abolitionist poet. I'm going to read you some of her work. Of that city had visited Memphis the winter before as my guest and turned and invited me to be her guest in Philadelphia. Let me show you. Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. She was a great abolitionist poet. She was born in 1825 and she died in 1911. Let me tell you what girlfriend would do. Girlfriend would go around to different parts of America because she was, in fact, I think she was the first black woman to be in the abolitionist movement. Let me show you Lydia Mariah Child. Lydia Mariah Child was an abolitionist, you dig? These were the men and women who did not agree with enslaving black people. Boom. Now, most of their organizations, of course, it was white women, white men. Frances Ellen Watkins Harper was the first black woman to be a part of the females abolitionist movement. Okay, she was a free black during slavery. They did exist. So I want to read you because she did poetry. She did poetry all over the country when she gave her speeches. Poetry was very important. Very important. I want you all to understand that. It was not only a form of entertainment, it was a form of education. Now, check this out. The poem that I decided to read from Frances Ellen Watkins Harper is called The Tennessee Hero. All right. What had happened was this. Now, listen to this very carefully. This young man had heard his comrades, interesting choice of words, plotting to obtain their liberty, and rather than betray them, the white folks, now these she says he, but I'm saying the white folks gave him 750 lashes. 750 lashes, and he died. So she wrote a poem about him, and he's called The Tennessee Hero. He stood before the savage throng. I love that. The base and coward crew. I love that too. A tameless light flashed from his eye, his heart beat firm and true. He was the hero of his band, the noblest of them all. Though fetters galled his weary limbs, his spirit spurned their thrall. and towered in a manly might above the murderous crew. Oh, liberty had nerved his heart, and every pulse beat true. Quote, now tell us, said the savage troop, and life thy gain shall be. Who are the men that plotting say they must and will be free? Oh, could you have seen the hero then as his lofty soul arose and his dauntless eyes defiance flashed on his mean and craven foes? This is what the brother said. I know the men who would be free. They are the heroes of your land. But death and torture I defy before I betray that band. I'll pick that up on. I love this. I love this. This brother was willing to die for black people. Do you understand that? Another thing, why I created readings with Regina, we have heroes that we don't even know about. This is why you must teach your own children. Okay. Last book I'm going to read, Asada. 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 And if you don't know Asada Shakur, please look her up. Now, let me just hip you again to what I'm going to read from Asada. Asada is being assaulted in the media. She's being lied on in the media. And I tell you people right now, do not believe what you hear in the mainstream media. Find alternative news sources. Okay? Anyway, let me get to the book. Asada decided that she wanted to write an open letter to black people. She's in jail now. And this is what she wrote. This is called To My People. She wrote this July 4th, 1973. Black brothers, black sisters, I want you to know that I love you. Yes, this is what we learned in the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. And I hope that somewhere in your hearts you have love for me. My name is Asada Shakur, slave name Joanne Chesimar, and I am a revolutionary. That's what Fred Hampton said too. I am a revolutionary, a black revolutionary. Hey, a black revolutionary for you. By that, I mean that I have declared war on all forces that have raped our women, castrated our men, and kept our babies empty bellied. I have declared war on the rich who prosper on our poverty, the politicians who lie to us with smiling faces. Didn't I start this program today and tell you that the person in the White House lied repeatedly? And all the mindless, heartless robots who protect them, and their property. I am a black revolutionary, and as such, I am a victim of all the wrath, hatred, and slander that America is capable of. Like all other black revolutionaries, America is trying to lynch me like they're trying to do Kamal Siddiqui and Mumia Abu Jamal. I am a black revolutionary woman, and because of this, I have been charged with and accused of every alleged crime in which a woman was believed to have participated. The alleged crimes in which only men were supposedly involved. I have been accused of planning. They have plastered pictures allegedly of to be me in post offices, airports, hotels, police cars, subways, banks, television, and newspapers. They have offered over $50,000 in rewards for my capture, and they have issued orders to shoot on sight and shoot to kill. I am a black revolutionary, and by definition, That makes me part of the Black Liberation Army. The pigs have used their newspapers and TVs to paint the Black Liberation Army as vicious, brutal, and mad dog criminals. They have called us gangsters and gun malls, and I have been compared to such characters as John Dillinger and Ma Barker. It should be clear, it must be clear to anyone who can think, see, or hear that we are the victims, and not the criminals. Okay, I'm going to stop right here. I will pick this up on Thursday. Now, I'm going to keep my word. I'll be signing off soon. Hi. I told you when I opened up the program that I was very disturbed by the killing of those children. 175 babies between 6 and 12 years old was killed by your country and mine. Is that who you are, Black people? Is that who you are, white people? Is you are American people to be killing children around the globe? Oh, so see, I actually listen to military reports. I know what's going on in Ukraine. I know what's going on military wise, where our country is involved in Africa and now in the so called Middle East, which is really a part of Africa, but I won't get into that right now. Another program for that. Boom! They didn't have a bomb. They didn't have a nuclear bomb. America has nuclear weapons. Who do you think made the first nuclear weapon? So I want you to understand that, my people. Now, as I told you before, you can see the kind of energy that I often carry because this country drives me almost out of my mind with its unfairness and its lies and its deceptions. This is what you do, and this is what I do when I get so fired up because the forces be in me, Jack, and I am not playing. Boom. But to bring myself back to a kind of stasis where I can help my people and help myself, I go into a meditation of gratitude. I am so grateful, you all, to be here with you. I might not have made it through the Black Panther Party for self defense, but I did. I did. I am an elder, okay? And I definitely feel blessed by the grace of God. This is what I do. By the way, you see this little jacket I got on? Ain't that the cutest? A brother gave that to me. Yes, it was a gift. We did a panel, or I did, the brother was a vendor, on Malcolm X this weekend. And this is my award winning book, and it really did win an award. Malcolm X and the Poetics of Akim Marabuti. Anyway, this brother, after listening to me, loved it. He was terribly handsome too. Just, oh, I wish I could remember his name, but I don't. Point, he gave me this lovely little hoodie. You see this? It is so cute. I just love this. So, what I did to calm myself down when I realized that America was in another war, which means another killing, which means that American soldiers, boom, were in harm's way behind a lie, just like they lied about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and it was none. But millions of people were killed. I'm telling you, I've said it before. White people are vampiric. I'll be nice and say it like this. Not all white people are. Many are, especially the ones who run America, run Britain, run Europe. They love to kill. They don't care about getting along with anybody else. They hate other people unless they're under their feet. So this is even why the name of this show, there it is, American Wars. And by the way, I put together this thumbnail even before I heard about the move on Iran, the move on the spiritual leader of Iran. American Wars and Plantations. Come out of the slave ship. Okay? So, Europeans who are now white Americans love war. Oh, yes, they do. Okay. My time has come to an end, but I want to emphasize once again so that you could be healthy, so that you could be resilient, so that you could use your energy while you are on earth to create a better world than what we are seeing now. I want you to meditate and remember in your darkness, once you close your eyes, remember all the good that was given to you, all of it. You want that gracious, lovely energy to just fill your body. All right. Then you go out into your own particular world and decide how you are going to make this world a better place. I honestly believe that this is why we are here, chosen to come here. All right, brothers and sisters. It's been magnificent being with you today, and I will see you on Thursday, same time, same place. Share these videos. Do share them with your children. And like I said last week, any word that I use from these books that is not familiar to you, look up that word. Okay, I keep saying I'm signing off and I keep talking, but I'm really going to go now. All right, my people. Love you dearly. Pray for you night and day. Do the same for me. Okay? See ya on Thursday.